What? What? I whoa, so loud. Hold on, guys. I don't know what is happening. I am not sure what is happening. The feed won't work. We're only broadcasting on YouTube. Restream was like, I'm out of here. I'm done. So right now we're only broadcasting on YouTube. Good morning. It's Monday. Tell me why I don't like Mondays. Tell me why I don't like Mondays. So I'm your Heavenly Father, your host for the day. We're just spilling COVFEFE. It's no big whoop. We're just going to drink our COVFEFE and check out what's happening with the world on a Monday. Even my webcam is off center and the green screen is not where everything is wrong. Hold on. I'm going to change it. I'm going to change something here. Hold on. I'm going to unplug my web camera, which is working. Like, oh no, your web camera isn't working, says the software. Well, here it is. It's not working here. Hold on. Oh, let's see if I can make this work without actually unplugging anything. Give me a second here. How about this one? Am I there? No. Am I there? I don't know what that is. Am I here? Ah! There's me. All right, hold on. There. Hi. Hi, everybody. Now watch what we can all do together. We'll go to filters. We'll go to chroma key. We'll turn that on. And that almost works. Yeah? Yeah, almost. There's a little bit something going on over here. Don't look at that. Don't look at the fuzzy area. I can make that go away. Hold on. All right. Oh, is everyone's life so much better now? I hope so. Let's pump me up. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I want this week. It's all about Kevin. So the chat window is not working right now. So let's do this. What if I do that? There. Okay. Chat window's gone. Now let's see. Main display. It's just not good. Come on. Come on. Hi, everyone. You're watching how the sausage is made. Speaking of how the sausage is made, everybody panic. Because Joe Biden has to resign from his presidency because they haven't approved this one bill yet. Everyone run outside with your hair on fire and throw soup with the suburbs because it's over. What you thought was happening in this country with Joe Biden being president, it's not true. It's all lies. There's some really good news this last week. We haven't talked about that yet, but I'm trying to get it so you guys can see what I see, and it's not working. So hold on. Oh, I know what it is. This is a Gmail issue. I can fix this, and by Gmail I mean the Google. Here, there. Now you guys can see that. So we've beaten that already. So this morning is just going swimmingly. I wanted to start the broadcast at 9 because I said, hey, the broadcast starts at 9, and I like to do what I can. If I say I'm going to do something, I like to do it. So
asking my family, I said, who do y'all want?
Hold on a second. I got to mute my mic here, and I will be right back. Okay, let's take this. We're going to move this over here. We're going to pump it big. There we go. How about that? How about that? We'll get big me and we'll make me smaller because nobody wants to see that, really. Okay. How about that? That's not bad. We got no one sends me money anymore anyway, so we're good there. Let's see what's we got a couple of things to look at. That's NFL footage. There's absolutely zero chance of us watching that. Waiting for YouTube TV to catch up with us right now. Let's check in with the folks over at Fox and Friends and see what we should be outraged by this week. But before we get into that, in fact, let me make that go away. Before we get into that, I just want to say the good news is I'll say that I predicted this, but I didn't predict this. I mean, I did predict this, but it doesn't matter. What I had hoped several weeks ago is that the Delta variant would do the exact same thing as it's done in the India, in the UK, in some isolated other parts of the world. 2 months up, down. This is what we do with the COVID. For 2 months, up, down. Since the beginning of August, the rates are down 35%. Now, the bad news is, even with being down 35%, we're still averaging 100,000 cases a day in the United States. It's insanity. And everyone's running around kissing people at the dollar store, which is now no longer a dollar store. Some things cost $1.10 or more. Thanks, Biden. That news came out last week that the dollar store is going to start charging more than $1 for some items. And someone's videotaping me from the other room. I thought, am I the only person on the planet who thought that everything at the dollar store was still $1? Maybe because I've been to the Dollar Tree and some things are $1.99 or $2, or the 99-cent store here in California, things are like 99 cents or $1.99 or $2.99, or on the rare occasion, $3.99, and right away I am righteously indignant. $3.99 for a pitcher that'll hold 2 gallons of iced tea? Fuck you very much, 99-cent store. And I report them. I report them on Twitter, and I report them to the local sheriff's department, because that should not be allowed. Call yourself a 99-cent store. Why not just make it $428.99, I say, as I stomp out of the store, pushing carts aside, spilling the Pepsi. And when I say Pepsi, I mean Shasta. The green screen filter's not happy with us at all this morning. How's everybody? Hi, Liberty. Hi, Deidre. Hi, Gigi. Who else is in here? Hi, Tracy. I think I saw Stephanie in here. So the chat, you guys are like 30 seconds behind. Everything fell apart. I went to hit broadcast, and it said your server is dead or something. I don't know. So we're only on YouTube this morning. You're not watching us on Twitter. The people on the Twitch, they can't see us. This is just a private little YouTube. So only people with YouTube right now can watch this broadcast. And that's everyone on the planet. So the good news, a couple of good news is, number one, COVID is now like declining by like 30% planet-wide, which is great. Still terrible, but great. The other news is the pill, the Merck pill, if that does prevent death, almost entirely, as the study showed, 700 people, 0 died, but 350 of them had, if it's a regular study, but 350 of them had the pill, 350 of them had the placebo. 8 people in the placebo group died, 0 died who got the little pill from Merck. Pills can save the planet. Really hard to distribute the vaccines that require to be kept at -7 degrees Kelvin. The pill, here you go. Here's some pills. Go home. Or just go to your pharmacy and pick the pills up. Or in some regions, for example, in Malawi, what the Gates Foundation did was deliver AIDS pills door to door. And when I say AIDS, I should say HIV, or if it's Trump, it's HPV. Distributed by ISIS-X, door to door. So the pills will be easy to distribute if it turns out that the Merck experiment and study comes to fruition and the veracity of it can be proven. So amazing news. This could, much more than the vaccine, this could spell an end to the pandemic. Now, what the pills don't do is they don't prevent replication of the virus. They slow it down, but you still can end up with variants coming out of people who are taking the pill. Scientifically speaking, we don't know that. But that should be the way that it works. With the vaccine, as it turns out, it slows that process and in some cases eliminate it because the infections can't take hold in a person with vaccines at a rate of about 66%, depending on the variant, and there'll be a variant that gets by the vaccines and is a breakthrough. And anyway, the point is you inundate the market, and by market I mean human flesh, with as much of the prophylactic as you can, so that the variant doesn't take hold, because as I've said before, this is just the rehearsal virus. Let's see what we should be outraged by today. Let's turn on the main display. What I want to do is just check in and see what we should be outraged by, or what we should be worried about, and why. Why, for the love of God, she's wearing a green dress on television. This is just asking for trouble. And let's do this. Let's make some trouble. Let's do this. We'll do this. We'll do this. We'll do this. There we go. Now she's wearing a nice black dress. It's lovely.
The drama of Bill Belichick and Brady butting heads, and in the end, he hugged it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of butting heads, and it's all about the money, I mean, isn't that really why Tom Brady probably lost to the Patriots about the money? Let's talk about the butting of the heads in Congress, but usually
I pay attention to the sports thing, and I don't know what that means.
it is between Republicans and Democrats, and this time it's Democrat on Democrat. Nancy Pelosi has set a deadline of taking a vote on the gigantic $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill by Halloween. So when you look at this trick-or-treat spending bill, the price tag, it's interesting because
trick-or-treat spending bill. That's what they're calling, you know, childcare, hearing aids for seniors, tax credits, electric vehicle stimuli, weaning off the oil standard, getting away from foreign oil. It's trick-or-treat. That's what we're calling it.
You know, Friday, Joe Biden said,
The new bill, by the way, is full of great things for the American people. You're poor? No problem. You can go to community college. It's free. You want an education to get out of the slums? It's free. We'll take care of you.
Support both bills.
Trick or treat. Trick or treat. Here's an education and a better life for you and all your ancestors. Never mind.
The big
You guys know what I mean.
bill for $3.5 trillion and the little bill for $1.2 trillion. But he said, you know what? You're going to have to shrink it, Democrats. 3.5 too much. Think closer to 1.9 to 2.3. That's your range.
Okay, that's how it works. Yeah.
Meantime, you got Joe Manchin, who says my range is 1.5 flat.
You remember when Nancy Pelosi said,
Yeah, that's how it works. Have these people just discovered government?
we'll read it after we pass it? That's kind of this. They're like, we'll worry about the price tag once we pass it. It's not about the price tag. It's about the needs of the people.
No, they actually have to have a price tag when they pass it. That's not how it works, and that's not what Nancy Pelosi said.
And I'm thinking, well, if you buy a house or if you buy a car, you look at the price tag, right?
Right.
You buy it according to what you can afford.
By the way, this is all YouTube is showing me right now. This is my morning so far. So, good morning. I see that some of you are in the chat room, so you're watching this. But this is all that YouTube is willing to tell me at this point. You guys are also about a half minute behind. The latency is just normal latency, so we're just a bunch of noobs right now. Morning, Chris.
And this is so expensive, and they're saying.
So, in other words, with the latency is how long it takes me speaking to when you guys actually hear me. So when Chris Wilson says good morning, I've said good morning to Chris 30 seconds before he even thinks of typing that in. That's not on everybody. That's just Chris. He's a little bit slow. But you know what? I was going to say like him, but we tolerate him. I mean, right? He's a good old soul or something. Suzette says, in a free society, the state does not administer the affairs of men. It administers justice against men who conduct their own affairs. Walter Lippmann. Okay.
We don't care. We care about the needs of the people. We'll
A lot of latency in that.
worry about the costs later.
So what I think was totally amazing is that
That's not what anyone is saying.
they knew in August that Joe Manchin would only go 1.5 and put in detail with Chuck Schumer. They get to the deadline for this deal, and they said, wait a second. What does Joe Manchin want? I told you in August what you wanted. They could have been dealing with this all month. The 1.5,
They have. It started off as $6 trillion. They have been dealing with this.
3.5. Do we meet halfway? No, we're not.
Is this it? Is this all they've got on outrage? Is sausage making? Come on, fucks and friends. There's got to be something else going on. Is the border shut now? Are we done with that? Are there no missing white women out there?
Is it 28%? No, I'd take 25% of the corporate rate. Okay, yes, it is. They could have been doing all this stuff, but instead, They acted like it was a big mystery, and the moderates feel as though they were sold out. They got him a bipartisan deal. The president wouldn't take the win. He links them both together because AOC wants it that way, and in the end, there is no deal.
Well, a ton of Democrats want it that way, but if it's just AOC, okay, if we're going to give her that much power. I mean, you're giving Joe Manchin the ultimate power of the purse, so why not? Why not make AOC also?
Deal, it's put off, and Nancy Pelosi looks impotent. The president looks...
So here's something. There was a video on the Twitters, well, I suppose everywhere, where some activists followed Kyrsten Sinema into a bathroom. I didn't even finish watching the video. It's like, I do not want to see anybody walking into a bathroom and a camera following them into the bathroom. So many reasons not to do that to a human being. I don't care if it's Kyrsten Sinema or some Republican senator who's going to have a gay affair in a stall. I do not care. Do not follow people into bathrooms. That is a special private place. This is why I'm actually broadcasting from my own personal bathroom right now. This is why the green screen. This is why you can't see behind me, because then the porcelain would just jump right out. I've painted everything technical green.
Clueless.
And at some point, my mic will turn off and I will finally take care of business. Why do you think I drink COVFEFE in the morning? Just wrong. There are many conditions that cause people not to be able to go to the bathroom in a public restroom. This could affect Kyrsten for a long time. It probably won't. She'll probably be okay. But come on, people. Don't videotape in a public bathroom. In a lot of states, that's illegal. Like, oh, we know you're upset because it's taking a while for the bill to get passed. All of these things that America has never had, we're trying to transform the way that America works and make it better for the citizens of the country. That's going to take a few days. Don't follow people into a restroom.
And for, at least for now, we have a chance for fiscal sanity. Listen to where we're at right now.
Said from the beginning is it's never been about the price tag. It's about what we want to deliver. The critical thing is let's get our priorities in, and then we'll figure out what it actually costs.
We don't talk about
Right, but they can't vote on it until they have a price tag.
it in terms of the number. We're talking about it in terms of the needs that we need.
Yeah, what do we want to do? And then you figure out how long can we do it for? Do some of these things want to sunset? So right now it's basically a 10-year bill, or it's things that we're going to do this and we're going to keep doing this forever. And this is how much it's going to cost. Well, there are ways to, we still want to have, for example, a child tax credit. But because the bill's price has to be brought down to make Joe Manchin happy, let's just say there's going to be a child tax credit for 5 years, for 3 years, or however you can move the numbers around, and then it sunsets unless Congress reapproves it in 3 years, 5 years, 8 years, whatever it is. That's how you do it. That's what they're saying. They're not saying, like, we don't care how much it costs.
To meet for the people.
We do want to spend money, invest to grow the economy. We believe that investing in the American people in a modern economy is the way to grow.
I think that President Biden has been a good faith partner to the entire Democratic Party. He reaches out and he actually tries to understand our perspective, and that is why I am fighting for his agenda with the Build Back Better Act.
We're going to win this thing. We're going to pass a strong infrastructure bill to rebuild our crumbling infrastructure, and we're going to pass a reconciliation bill.
And then Bernie Sanders says he originally wanted $6 trillion.
Which you thought was too little.
Yes.
And 3.5 is just the minimum, so for him to have to go down into the twos.
Where does he think we're going to get this money?
He's in the wrong country.
Actually, it's built into the bill. We're going to raise taxes on the ultra wealthy and the corporations. Remember the corporations, they cut the taxes from like 35% to 21%, 22%, depending on the corporation. So many corporations don't pay any tax. We're going to make sure the $160 billion a year, $160 billion a year of taxes are not paid because the wealthy figure out ways to cheat on those taxes. We're going to hire new IRS agents, and they're going to get that $160 billion or as much of it as they can. They're not going to look at waiters' tips. The whole like, oh, if you make more than $600 a year, the IRS is gonna be watching every transaction you make. That's not what it's designed for, and that's not how it works.
Someone should tell him he's in America.
Where did he honeymoon?
Yeah, the Soviet Union, yeah.
But here's the brilliance of Bernie Sanders. He wanted $6 trillion, $10 trillion, whatever. It costs zero. That's their new.
Zero.
That's the new Democrat talking points.
Chris Wallace did a great job. Chris Wallace did a great job just pinning Cedric Richmond to the ground because he had nothing to say.
He said it doesn't cost zero, Cedric. He says whether it's 3.5 trillion or 2 trillion.
Show it.
Or 1.5 trillion, it doesn't cost zero. And Cedric said at the end of the day, it will cost zero because we're going to pay for it.
See, they're dug in on that narrative, and the American person.
Yeah, it's zero balance. It's zero sum game. You spend this much, you raise this much. It doesn't increase the national debt. That's what they're saying. I mean, I don't know why it's hard to understand that.
People know if I buy a car for $35,000, it doesn't cost zero if I get financing.
It's $35,000.
Yeah,
no, you still have to pay for the financing. That's not how it works at all.
But if I give you the $35,000, you paid zero.
That's right.
Then you're right. Then
Yes, Brian Kilmeade. That is correct. Wow, the judges are here today. Barely. Nothing is working today.
There's corporations that are going to move to China, so they're not going to have that money that they're banking on.
You know, as you wake up, if you're a moderate Democrat in...
The corporations are not going to move to China. There is not a single corporation in the United States that is like, hey, let's go run our company under the communist regime. No, that is not happening. Well, they do these things called inversion, where they have full control over their capitalist company, and then they move it to China, and they completely lose all control of their company. Come on, Ainsley.
The House of Representatives today, you waking up with like a hangover because Josh Gottheimer...
got screwed. They got screwed.
Josh Gottheimer said 1,000%. Nancy Pelosi promised us we will have a vote last week.
Wow. We're now 7.5 minutes into the morning broadcast, and this is what they're outraged by. So, in other words, nothing. Let's do this. Let's just jump ahead, see if there's anybody worth watching. Are they gonna rag on Fauci? Let's see what Fauci has to say. Go ahead.
You know, Margaret, it's just too soon to tell.
Okay, here we go.
What does Christmas look like for America as far as COVID's concerned?
That's September 21st. See? The Del Rio situation right now, it's not happening anymore. People are still coming across the border with Del Rio. That's going to happen. But there's no more migrants. There's no more 18,000 migrants under a bridge. They have to show footage from 2 weeks ago now to be outraged.
Concerned. Listen to what he said.
But we can gather for Christmas, or it's just too soon to tell?
You know, Margaret, it's just too soon to tell.
Okay. Yeah, we could be in the middle of another spike, a worse spike by Christmas. So Fauci is correct. Let's wait. Let's hold off on the whole gathering for Christmas until we figure out. And he could be talking about gatherings in terms of let's go down to the town hall and have a Christmas breakfast, pancake breakfast. You know, we should do that. Anyway, it's too soon to tell. We don't know what the infection rates are going to be at that time. Right now, remember, even though we're down 35% since the beginning of September, there's still 100,000 infections per day.
We've just got to concentrating on continuing to get those numbers down and not try to jump ahead by weeks or months and say what we're going to do at a particular time.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Focus like a laser on continuing to get those cases down. And we can do it by people getting vaccinated and also in the situation where boosters are appropriate to get people boosted because...
It's time for my booster, by the way. I'll see you guys later. No, I'm eligible for my booster shot now. It is October 4th. I got my second shot April 3rd. I think that's 6 months. Somebody do the math.
We know that they can help greatly in diminishing infection and diminishing...
And I am high risk.
Advanced disease.
Ask anyone who's ever gone on a date with me. High risk.
The kinds of data that are now accumulating in real...
That's why he's talking about data. You go on a data with Kevin.
Time.
You should be accumulating that thing called data instead of looking at Israel's data. We have this great study.
Yoko says the COVID-19 vaccines have approximately 100 times more reports of death per year than the average reports for all other vaccines combined. That is complete nonsense. If you're talking about the VAERS system, somebody kick Yoko out of the chat room because she's just a bot and they are just posting complete nonsense. That is false information, and I don't even know how I can get to YouTube right now. Hold on, I'll do this. Let's go to YouTube Studio, and we're going to ban Yoko from the chat room because there's a couple of people in there posting nonsense, just quotes. But this is actually dangerous. That is complete nonsense. If you're talking about the VAERS system, that's something different. Anyone can report VAERS, and this is just a bot. Yoko, message deleted. Okay, let's see if I can get in there and... let's see, content. Like I said, YouTube is not cooperating with me today. And this is live, so I should be able to go in there. And, okay, now I can pull this up. Sorry, this is all making sausage here, but I'm not going to have somebody on here completely lying about nonsense like this. And I'm going to report them. And what should we say? Unwanted, pornographic, child abuse, hate speech, or graphic violence, harassment. Really? We don't have a health report yet? Oh my God. Oh, and now Gloria is just let's see. There we go. All done. Gloria's gone now. Gigi says my booster is in January, yet if the Merck pill works, I'll take it. I'm at high risk too, with scarring of my lungs from post-radiation treatment. Ouch. That sounds bad, Gigi. No, I mean, if I do get COVID, I'll be like, yeah, get me some monoclonal antibodies, please. And also, get me the Merck pill, if it's peer-reviewed and it's, approved by the FDA at that point. Right now, it's very preliminary. If it works, it's a game changer. Thank you, Marcy. Good morning, Marcy.
All these states coming up and telling you how many infections, how many cases, how many hospitalizations, where the exposure...
Let's get rid of Suzette as well. She's a bot. Vaccines only drive disease deeper and cause us to harbor it chronically. Nonsense. Yeah, like the way it did with smallpox and polio. Those diseases are just deeper now. It's just idiocy. Just the dumbest thing to say.
Is we don't seem to do any of our own studies.
I mean, just think about it. Okay, bot person who is Suzette and Gloria. Come on. Really? Polio, smallpox, any number of diseases that have been eliminated, including zoological diseases.
This guy never leaves television. We're going to have Christmas. We don't need Dr. Fauci's permission to do that.
Dr. Fauci was not giving anyone permission or denying anyone permission for Christmas. Listen to what he said. It's way too early to even think about it. Oh my God. These people. We saw Fauci. Let's see if there's anybody that they interview, because I want to watch Blackburn from yesterday. She's just a barrel of idiocy, and she's fun to watch. So let's jump forward here and see. Is that Josh Hawley? Who's this? I can only see a little tiny. You can see what I'm saying. Okay, so let's get rid of Susanna as well. She's just a bot. Where's Susanna here? Let's see. And boom, that's done. Okay.
Until the very last minute when...
They start off, by the way, with like quotes from John Lennon or anti-Marxism or whatever. It's like, okay, yeah, it's a quote from John Lennon. And then they're not posting anything. It's just, they're just bots.
The Taliban was on the gates of Kabul.
What's so infuriating if you see these images of seats that
The Shelter says, WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook down. Yeah, there's problems with the internet today. We're only broadcasting on the YouTube, and YouTube is telling me that there's an issue with the YouTube. And yet, here you folks are.
are just empty. And we remember how we all felt on those mornings when we were reporting.
Yeah, right now I've got 7 dislikes and 4 likes, which is fine, because that's just engagement. What the people who dislike a broadcast don't realize is YouTube likes that. YouTube will up my broadcast if I get a bunch of dislikes or likes. It's all about keeping the eyes on. If you didn't see 60 Minutes last night, take a look-see. 60 Minutes talked about Facebook. There's a whistleblower for Facebook who was revealed last night on 60 Minutes. And she basically confirmed, yeah, if it bleeds, it leads. If it's terrible, Facebook will let you see it because it enhances engagement. The whole point of Facebook is to keep your eyeballs on the feed as long as possible so that you look at as many ads and click on as many ads as possible because they make revenue when you click on the ads. It's a terrible system. And so your feed eventually becomes populated with things you engage in, whether you like them or not. So if you're horrified by some racist person running outside and yelling the N-word at a 6-year-old over and over again, they're going to show you that kind of stuff over and over again because it keeps your eyeballs on the screen. Which is why when I saw people following Kirsten Sinema into a bathroom, I stopped watching. I don't want to see feeds of people following other people in the bathrooms. You know what? I like my old broadcast. Now we're 7-7. We're even. Carbon neutral for the day. It doesn't cost $0. I don't know who's sitting on the couch here, and I don't care. Let's move on beyond that. Why? What about the people in the diners? What do the people in the diners think? We're almost done with Fox and Friends. We'll move on to yesterday's broadcast, and yeah, there's nobody worth watching on there. Let's go back to, we'll go to the search bar, and we'll go Maria, and it'll bring up Sunday morning futures, and we'll look at them from yesterday, and we should be able to find Marsha Blackburn on here.
No advice
from
military leaders that he shouldn't.
Let's go back. Here we go.
Has submitted.
Let's jump ahead of this. Just a second here, folks. Here she is. This is Marsha Blackburn. She's a senator in the United States Senate. By the way, the Senate is unconstitutional. Ever since the 14th Amendment, the Senate is now unconstitutional. I don't know why nobody argues that. Equal protection under the law. And this is subsequent to the writing of Article 1, where the Senate is defined by the Constitution. The way we do the Senate is not equal protection under the law. It is very much not that in many ways. And yet, as far as I know, no one's ever brought a case to the Supreme Court saying, hey, 14th Amendment, which was passed after the Senate, just the same as anything that the Supreme Court has decided, Brown versus the Board of Education, for example, Trump's Dred Scott. The stuff that was in the Constitution, it says 3/5. An African American is now, actually it doesn't say African American. A black person is 3/5 of a person in the United States. Well, you know what? We changed that. 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, any amendment you want to throw in there. It changed what was in the original Constitution. That's what the amendments do. They amend what we meant to say. So then we decided, let's have the 14th Amendment where everybody gets equal protection under the law. That's how that works. It's a basic concept beyond the Bill of Rights. And yet we still have the Senate, where somebody in Wyoming has 64 times the political power, the protection of somebody living in California, or 45 times somebody living in Texas, or New York, or wherever.
Nobody has resigned. Nobody has submitted
She's talking about Afghanistan.
Their resignation. And we've got thousands of people watching this hearing today that are looking at you all and saying, I can't believe they're...
Thousands of people watching a hearing. Thousands! Really? It's not 100,000. It's not a couple of million?
They're sitting there.
Are you broadcasting on YouTube?
And not answering the questions and are trying to punt.
That was Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn rebuking General Mark Milley on Tuesday.
I don't think Milley was rebuked at all, but okay.
Calling for accountability after the Biden administration's reckless withdrawal from Afghanistan.
I like that setup. Check it out. He's got the machine gun and he's shooting through a shield. Smart.
Resulting in 23 deaths that we know of, including the 13 U.S. service members killed in the Kabul.
Many, many, many more deaths than that, but it wasn't a result of the pullout. Those are the fight against terrorism. They were killed by ISIS-K, or, as the former president says, ISIS-X, because he can't get anything wrong. Not since the flu pandemic of 1917 has Donald Trump been right.
Airport attack and a botched drone strike that killed children. Senator Blackburn joins me now. She sits on the Senate Armed Services and Judiciary Committee. Senator,
Yeah, but the botched drone strike was because of terrorism, not because of the withdrawal.
thanks very much for being here. I want to discuss Tuesday's hearing, but first, give us your reaction on what took place on the Biden agenda on Friday. How is this going to play out? And is this busting up the Biden agenda and the Bernie budget? Or do you think that we will see a vote and they will be able to pass all of this spending by the end of October, as Nancy Pelosi is hoping?
Maria, we know that the Build Back Better agenda has become the Biden Build Back Broke agenda. And the American people have figured out that what they're trying to do is institutionalize socialism. They're trying to do a takeover of the country in one vote. They want government control of your kids. They want to look at your bank account for every transaction over $600. Anything that you do on Venmo and PayPal, they want a part of that transaction. They want government control of health care. They want to demoralize the military, close the churches, destroy your faith in the American system, and then here they're going to come with the...
Well, that's surprising, because if that's what they want, they should have put some of that in the bill. None of that is in the bill. There's no closing of the churches in the bill.
A socialist program to run your life from cradle to grave, daylight to dark.
Yeah, you run my life by sending me to college for free. How dare you?
Unbelievable.
It is unbelievable because it's unbelievable.
Senator, I want to talk about Afghanistan, and I really want to get to China. You've been so good on all of this. Thank you for
she has not.
What you've been doing in those testimonies. First, what struck you most after interviewing Mark Milley and Lloyd Austin?
Build Back Broke it sounds too much like Brokeback Mountain. It makes me feel good about sharing my life with another man. There's got to be something better than Build Back Broke. I'm not even going to worry about it right now, but somebody will come up with something.
Last week.
What really struck me was the number...
Woohoo! Now we have 11 likes. Thank you, Sean. You're 30 seconds behind.
...number of lies we have gotten out of the...
Marcy didn't tell you that I was on, probably because I wasn't. YouTube is a little bit broken today. Restream, the company that I use to send my signal through, that I finally paid for so that we could do the charity broadcast. I actually paid like $19 for a month to use Restream, which is in order to do the charity broadcast that we did on Saturday and broadcast it on 2 different YouTube channels. I had to pay and mess with it and make it do things that it's not supposed to be able to do, but it worked. Anyway, Restream's down now. So irony. I finally pay for the thing because I'm happy to. Restream is a wonderful software program, but I've never needed more than the free version of it. Now that I've paid, it's not working.
The Biden White House. Biden said he had no advice from military leaders, that he shouldn't use August 31st as the date, that he should keep the troop levels at 2,500. He said nobody...
No, that's not what he said.
Said you need to keep the Bagram airfield, and we...
Not what he said.
We know now that all of that was false.
Marcia has tremendous comprehension issues.
The generals never said this was an extraordinary success. That is all spin coming from the White House and Jen Psaki. So that is probably what people looked at.
Well, that's a viewpoint. That's an opinion. And every American's entitled to it. You could say it was a rip-roaring disaster.
As here you have these 3 generals, and finally, after we pound them for a while...
Whoa. I do not want to know what goes on in the Senate chambers.
They say, hey, wait a minute, we said they needed to keep 2,500 troops. So Biden was wrong in his...
There was no pounding. They answered that question directly. And no, that's not what Biden said. The question was, did they say you should keep 2,500 troops, or did they say you could keep troops and that it was going to be stable, that using those troops we could stabilize? No, it was split. That's what he said. And well, did they say it would stabilize things? No one ever said it would stabilize anything.
Interview with Stephanopoulos, he was wrong.
There is no Stephanopoulos. That's the mythical creature from Sesame Street that only Big Bird can see. Stephanopoulos. I like Stephanopoulos, by the way.
In saying nobody said August 31st wouldn't work. But Maria, he wanted to take that victory lap on September 11th.
By the way, we didn't hear from any of the generals who said that August 31st couldn't work. I watched the hearings. I don't remember any of them saying like, yeah, I told him no August 31st.
So badly that he was willing to sacrifice our relationship with our NATO allies, with our partners in the region, the Afghan government, 13 troops.
The Afghan our partnership with the Afghan government. Trump negotiated the surrender without the Afghan government, which the generals told us in the hearing demoralized the Afghan troops. That's why the Taliban is in control of Afghanistan right now, because of Trump. Wow.
Lost their life, and thousands, we don't even know the number yet, of Americans, of Afghan allies, SIV holders and their families, applicants and their families that are left stranded behind Taliban lines.
Right, because the Afghan government collapsed, they fled, and the Afghan army collapsed. The army that Trump gave $85 billion worth of equipment to. They threw down their guns and they ran away. Because they were completely demoralized by Trump negotiating a surrender deal without the government.
Well,
the government that the United States installed.
Jen Psaki also said that Biden got advice from the generals and he got advice from others. Who are those others, and who's really running the show in the White House?
There's a whole national security team. My God, how can she not know this?
Right now, in your view?
I think the advice came from Ron Klain and Jake Sullivan and Susan Rice and Wendy Sherman and Anthony Blinken, that they were saying, let's get out of there. Let's take this victory lap. Joe Biden, you can say you're the guy that ended this.
Yeah.
I think that
is correct.
That's where it's coming from.
Senator, let me move on.
Yeah, Joe Biden got us out of a war, a 20-year war, the longest war we've ever fought, where we were not winning. And there was no hope of victory in sight. And he got us out so that Americans would stop dying overseas for a war we could not win. Oh, how dare he?
To China, what we know is that China has sent 20 more aircraft toward Taiwan. One day after the largest ever incursion, the CCP sending more aircraft into Taiwan's air defense over.
What? Is Maria broadcasting from a fountain? I have headphones on, so I can hear the in the background. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but during a moment of silence, just listen.
The weekend, bullying Taiwan, and also.
Yeah, there's a fountain there. She's either broadcasting from a fountain or, like me, broadcasting from her bathroom and the faucet's running.
There is a report from Axios that America's security.
Yes, Marcy, making a decision with the advice of those who know stuff, it's bad. It's wrong. Go with your gut, like Trump. The same way Trump, by the way, that was the first time that I remember that Trump went against his gut and admitted that he makes his decision based on his gut, not on advice. When he surged troops into Afghanistan after he took the presidency, after he campaigned on, I'm getting the hell out of Afghanistan, he admitted in the press conference, usually I make decisions with my gut. Which is really, it's not what you want with a president.
Agencies under President Biden are opposing the blacklisting of a spin-off firm of the Chinese Communist Party linked to the telecom firm Huawei. We also have an article from Axios that says that our government agencies are buying drone technology from China. Now, you've got to explain this one to me. Why would we be buying drones from China when, in fact, there is a surveillance program already underway? What can you tell us if the U.S. is buying drones from China?
From what we have heard, and we've not been able to fully investigate this, but what we have read is that they have removed Huawei from the blacklisting, and they are going back and doing business with Chinese tech companies. Maria, we have said no government.
We don't know that that's the case. That's just what Marcia has heard.
Agency, whether it's our military, our intel, our law enforcement, our diplomatic agencies can use Huawei, and they certainly can't use DJI drones. And here's the thing that is so troublesome. Joe Biden is kowtowing to the communist Chinese. He is letting them lead him around and put them back to the point that they can sell this surveillance. Well, what is going to happen with this? The communist Chinese are going to gather all that data. They're going to build profiles of these cities. They're going to build profiles of people whose information is riding on that Huawei network. This is all part of their surveillance plan and building a virtual you online so that they know everything that you're going to do. So this is incredibly dangerous.
Again, we don't know that any of this is happening. We know that the Chinese like to track us and keep tabs of our data. They're pretty much a Facebook, but they're a country. But this is just something that she's heard.
You can imagine that we're going to be on top of that this very week.
It's imagination.
You cannot do business with the communist Chinese.
Well, what else does the CCP have on Joe?
Really? Because Trump bragged constantly about doing business with the communist Chinese.
Biden and Hunter Biden. We were told that Hunter Biden would travel around China and would tell the Secret Service, don't follow me when I'm in China. So, I mean, my question is it because there is a conflict of interest with the Biden family and the CCP? Is that why he is rolling over for Huawei? We just sent the CFO who was under house arrest in Canada. Now she's enjoying her motherland of China. She's back.
That's right. And this is all part of going soft on China. And whether it is Biden Incorporated, President Biden, or John Kerry trying...
So what happened there is it was a hostage exchange, basically. Canada had a Chinese national who was involved with Huawei. The United States wanted to extradite her to the United States. A decision was made because what happened was China immediately kidnapped, arrested 2 Canadians and tried them and sentenced them to multiple years in jail. So this was a hostage situation where Canada sent back the Chinese national and got back the 2 Canadian citizens with the blessing of the United States, because at this point it was like, it's not going to make any difference to anybody. Let's get those 2 Canadians home. This was national. I was in Canada at the time, and this was the lead story. In fact, that's all they talked about for that news broadcast. I watched the National that day on CBC, and that was all they talked about, was the fact that these 2 Canadian citizens who've been prisoners in China for the last couple of years and for the foreseeable future, they came home. Okay, good. We got 2 hostages back.
To do, get them to work with him on climate change.
Right.
This is just ridiculous how they're going about
Senator,
letting China lead the way.
Senator, thank you so much. I wanted to ask you about next week.
Do you guys hear all that background noise, or is that just noise in my head?
Because I know you have the whistleblower of Facebook. You're going to be hearing from that person, and you will reveal the who that person is on Tuesday. We'll be watching your testimony. You're hearing.
Oh, that's too bad, because it was revealed last night on 60 Minutes. But yeah, what a coup, Senator Blackburn. Senator Blackburn will reveal who that person is. I guess they haven't watched the promos for 60 Minutes yesterday.
Of the Facebook whistleblower on Tuesday. Thank you so much, Senator, for all that you're doing.
Yeah,
thank you. That on Tuesday.
Thank you so much for revealing the identity that was revealed last night. Congratulations, Senator. What a coup. I'm trying to find on the other screen here Donald Trump talking about how he goes with his gut and in order to make decisions And unfortunately, the fact base that I used to search Donald Trump, it's not coming up with it. It happened it would have been about August of 2017 when we surged troops. Let me, actually, I'll search for it that way. 2017, Trump surge troops Afghanistan, which I will not spell correctly. I did. So proud of myself. September 18th, there's an article. August 21st. Okay. Trump announces new strategy. There we go. And it's in 3 minutes. So this is a, what is it? Expurgated version? Here we go.
Love for America requires love for all of its people. When we open our hearts to patriotism, there is no room for prejudice, no place for bigotry, and no tolerance for hate. The American
That seems okay.
People are weary of war without victory. Nowhere is this more evident than with the war in Afghanistan. My original instinct was to pull out.
Instinct. His instinct.
Historically, I like following my instincts.
Yep.
But all my life, I've heard that decisions are much different when you sit behind the desk in the Oval Office.
Yeah.
The consequences of a rapid exit are both predictable and unacceptable. No one denies.
Right, which is why you agreed to a rapid exit in May.
That we have inherited a challenging and troubling situation in Afghanistan and South Asia, but we do not have the luxury of going back in time and making different or better decisions. We will not talk about numbers of troops or our plans for further military activities.
Well, that's exactly what you did in the surrender agreement. Exactly what you did. We will pull out this many troops by this date. The rest of our troops will be gone by this date. Exactly what you did.
Conditions on the ground, not arbitrary timetables, will
That's what you had, arbitrary timetables. That's what you agreed to.
Guide our strategy from now on. America's troops or our plans for further military activities. Conditions on the ground, not arbitrary timetables, will guide our strategy from now on.
Okay, but you did agree to... This is now 3 years later, because this is 2017, by the way. August of 2017, if I'm remembering correctly. I could look it up, but it's fine. Anyway, so this is 2017, August, September. All of this Afghanistan decision-making was going on. And this whole arbitrary timeline, that was 2020, last year, January, February, that they came to the decision, like, we're just getting out.
America's enemies must never know our plans or believe they can wait us out.
So that would be what, the Taliban? Well, then we shouldn't tell the Taliban what we're going to do, and so they can wait us out. Oh, by the way, we probably also shouldn't put that down on paper and sign it and agree to it. That's what we shouldn't do, but that's what we did.
I will not say when we are going to attack.
Okay, well, we didn't attack. We surrendered.
But attack we will.
We didn't.
Our troops will fight to win. We will fight to win.
They did not.
From now on, victory will have a clear definition.
You mean leave? Because that's what you agreed to.
Attacking our enemies, obliterating ISIS.
Did not. ISIS-X is still around, you know.
Crushing Al-Qaeda.
Crushing who?
We'll fight to win. We will fight to win.
If you're just joining us, this is August of 2017 that Trump is bragging about Afghanistan and how we're never going to do what he did.
From now on, victory will have a clear definition.
Okay.
Attacking our enemies, obliterating ISIS, crushing Al-Qaeda.
I guess he said it. It sounds weird. The way he says Al-Qaeda is weird in my head, but I guess that's just his accent.
Preventing the Taliban from taking over.
Taliban? Wait, what?
We will fight to win.
Uh-huh.
From now on, victory will have a clear definition.
Good. I can't wait till what the definition is when it comes to the Taliban.
Attacking our enemies,
Yeah.
obliterating ISIS,
Got it.
crushing Al-Qaeda,
Sure.
preventing the Taliban from taking over Afghanistan.
By telling them when we're going to leave and having them wait it out. Please don't hurt us until May. That's all we're asking. Just don't attack American troops. And also don't say mean things about us. And we promise that none of the allies will say threatening things about you. We'll create a safe space in Afghanistan. That's literally what it says in the agreement. Please don't believe me. Look it up on the State Department's website. You can find the agreement. And in there, it promises that America and its allies will not say threatening things about the Taliban.
And stopping mass terror attacks against America.
Well, that didn't work. Because 13 American servicemen are dead. So the whole, let's have the Taliban take care of the terrorists didn't work.
Before they emerge. We are not nation building again. We are killing terrorists.
Okay.
The next pillar of our new strategy is to change the approach and how to deal with Pakistan. We can no longer be silent about Pakistan's safe havens for terrorist organizations, the Taliban, and other groups that pose a threat to the region and beyond. America will work with the Afghan government as long as we see determination and progress.
And that determination and progress apparently ended in January of 2020 when the Trump administration didn't negotiate with the Afghan government in mind, negotiated with, the Taliban.
However, our commitment is not unlimited, and our support is not a blank check.
That is correct. Trump was correct there. He pumped $216 billion into Afghanistan and then negotiated a surrender deal with the Taliban, not only telling them exactly when we would be leaving, but also letting 5,000 of their people out of jail. The ones who did something so bad that they got arrested and were held in Afghan jails, released. By the way, just as an aside, and this is kind of a funny story, the person with whom Trump was negotiating, the co-founder of the Taliban, Trump got him out of jail in 2019 in Pakistan. It's kind of a, woo! It's wacky the way the world works. The same, we're not going to negotiate with the Taliban, we're not going to let them take over Afghanistan. He got them out of jail. Because remember, our support for the Afghan government that was installed by the Americans, not unlimited. All right, that's enough COVFEFE for this morning, guys. I don't know if we'll see you later on today. We do have a Trump interview from the other day on some weird right-wing channel. I found it on the YouTubes. So we'll cover that a little bit later. I don't know what he's up to the last couple of days, but we'll cover that. You guys go have a wonderful day. It is a Monday. The internet is apparently broke. So go enjoy your day. Get off the computer. Go do something productive. Have a great day, everybody. Stay safe and be good to yourself. Today is Be Good to Yourself Day. And it's also, of course, like every day, being good to others. Be good to others. And then, of course, above all else, be good to me. Wow. I just hit stop the stream and a warning popped up saying, you will not be able to reconnect. Your stream will stop and you will no longer be live. Yes. That is why I hit stop streaming. You guys don't want to follow me around all day. Trust me on that.